another video, and today you and I are going to be taking a look at something very interesting. It's actually an animated story, and it's titled, "My Mom Has Been Lying to Me for 10 Years That I'm Blind Until I Found Out the Truth." You guys, I have a feeling that this video is going to be really intense, full of drama, full of mystery, and I'm totally ready for it. If you are too, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. And without further ado, let's see why this girl's mom has been lying to her for 10 years, especially about being blind. That's like so weird. So let's go.
Hi, my name is Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
I'm 15 years old. What would you do if you woke up one day, opened your eyes, and realized that you can't see anything no more?
I would be like, where is everything? What is going on? Comment down below what you would do. Honestly, I'd be really freaked out.
I grew up with my parents in a house with a large garden and a swing. My father spent most of his time at work, so all day I was only with my mother. She did not leave me for a minute. All corners of the furniture in our house were covered with special foam rubber.
So your mom is like a super careful mom. This mom is looking out for her kid, okay? Ain't no way this kid is getting hurt. She's a super mom.
And the floor was covered with soft, fluffy carpets. And there was no question of playing in the garden. I spent much time looking out of the window at the swing in the yard.
If you didn't want her to play, why would you get that stuff in the first place? But at the same time, why would you not let your kid play? That's so weird. Let him play. Kids are supposed to play.
But Mom was categorical. My only way to get a breath of freedom was when Mom fell asleep. She slept very firmly. It seems to me that even a herd of elephants could not wake her. And in the future, it played a cruel joke with her.
Okay, so mom can sleep through anything, and she's a little bit cuckoo from what I'm gathering.
Once, on my 4th birthday, when both Mom and Dad were at home preparing gifts for me, I noticed that the front door was opened. That was my chance. So I just ran out into the street and immediately ran to the swing. It turned out that they were higher than I could reach, but I managed to climb on them. My feet did not touch the ground, but I swayed more and more. I imagined myself to be a bird and spread my arms like wings.
She said, screw you guys, I'm reclaiming my freedom and I'm going to that swing set.
That was a mistake. I fell and it darkened in my eyes. I remember this day in such details because it was the last day I could see. When I woke up, it was very dark. Later, my mother said that I asked her to turn on the light. She burst into tears and said that the light was already on, and I did not see anything because I was blind after the blow.
Imagine suddenly falling and just going completely blind. That must totally mess with your head. But because of the title of the video, we know that she's actually not blind, so I wonder how her mom is making her think she's blind. It doesn't really make sense, does it?
I didn't understand what that meant. Mom said that I have a rare disease of the lens of the eye, heltatitis. It has not been studied much, and therefore no medicine exists for it. This is a congenital disease, but it intensified after a strong blow.
Oh, okay, so she already had this disease, but it just got worsened by the blow.
Mom said that the eyes during this illness are very weak, and even the slightest draft or a drop in temperature can cause severe inflammation, and I can lose my sight forever. I was a child, and it scared me very much.
Wait, but I thought she already lost her sight. Okay, I'm getting where this is going now, so I'm assuming the mom is gonna be like, we don't want you to lose your eyesight, so just cover them all the time. She's already kind of losing her eyesight by doing that, you know what I mean?
But fortunately, according to the parents, this process can be taken under control. They bought a special blindfold, which was very tight to the eyes, and in such a way maintained the same temperature. Mom did not stop calming me down. She came up with fairy tales about blind princesses, in whom the handsome prince fell in love and everything was fine with them.
If I didn't know her mom was actually lying to her about being blind, I would say that's kind of cute that she's saying that there's blind Disney princesses to make her feel better. But I'm not gonna say it's cute because the mom is evil, okay? Because she's a liar.
I gradually got used to the new world. My parents made a room for me in our basement and equipped it with special sensors that responded to my voice. There was everything I needed, and even more. And also, Dad gave me a new dress every month. Although I did not see them, I felt the fabric, its texture, silk, velveteen, velvet, linen. That made me truly happy because I remained a girl who was pleased with attention and gifts. And also, I was pampered with the most delicious dishes, so over the years, I have become a real gourmet.
Okay, so she's getting absolutely spoiled by her family with gifts and food and things like that, which is amazing.
If only I knew that it would not lead to anything good. And although all my whims were immediately fulfilled, no matter how I asked to go out, they did not listen to me. I begged, at least for half an hour. Just stay in nature, walk on the grass, and touch the flowers. It was my dream. But my parents over and over again said categorically no.
I don't get why her parents want to keep her trapped in the house. All the girl wants to do is enjoy some goddamn nature. Let her. Is that really too much to ask for? I don't think it is.
If I were in the room above, not in the basement, I would try to escape. But here I had no chance. Moreover, the room was locked with 2 locks. I heard it by sound.
Okay, so this girl is basically a prisoner in her own home. They put extra locks on the door to keep her in. That is not normal. You don't do that to a regular person, so they're definitely freaking keeping her locked in there.
I got older, but nothing changed. The same gourmet food, new dresses every month, studying in the format of audio lessons. I was sure that I was ready to go out because I wouldn't sit in this basement until the end of my life. I turned 14, and I felt that it was time to get out into the big world, at least beyond that bunker. When I once again started this conversation with my mother, she became angry and replied that it was too dangerous on the street for a blind young girl.
Just because she's blind doesn't mean that she can't have a life. We're so lucky to live in a world where we're advanced enough for blind people to be able to do things and go out and walk around and live a normal life. So why are her parents preventing her from doing that? It's really freaking weird. Don't you want your kid to have an amazing life full of experiences and things that they've done? Why would you want them trapped in the same room forever? It's so boring. This girl must be bored out of her mind.
I decided to act differently and began to prepare an escape plan. All I needed was a key, but Mom was too careful and never left it in the room when she was gone. Therefore, I persuaded my mother to stay with me. I said that for several days in a row I had bad dreams, and I want her to be near. Mom was touched by that, but I was ashamed to deceive her.
I would do the same damn thing, girl. You don't really have much of a choice. You gotta be a little sneaky to get what you want sometimes. And what this girl wants is just freedom, and she deserves it. So you go get it, girl.
So when my mother fell asleep, firmly as usual, I got out of bed without problems, without waking her, and began to look for keys. I managed to find a bunch of keys with a massive keychain. There were several keys, and among them, one stood out, one very small. I immediately understood what it was for. Mom was sleeping nearby. I heard her breathing. My hands were trembling, but I managed to unlock the blindfold, and I immediately covered my mouth with my hands so as not to cry out. Although the room was dark enough, but I saw a glow from a small rectangular screen on the bedside table near the bed, and along the walls there was a soft light. I didn't have time to look through the rest. Even from such a weak amount of light, I felt a strong pressure in my eyes. I quickly snapped the blindfold. Since that day, my life has been divided into before and after. The plan was born in my head very quickly. I only needed a few days. Within 3 days, I will remove the blindfold so that my eyes could slowly get used to the light.
So thankfully, she discovered that she can actually see. But obviously, because her eyes have been shut away from light for so long, it probably even hurts her to look. So she's gonna have to do it slowly. It's gonna have to be a process. But it'll be totally worth it because she'll finally be free. Also, did anyone notice how the blindfold was locked on her head? It's a little bit excessive in my opinion.
And then I'll take my whole bunch of keys from my mother and get out of the room onto the street. First of all, I would try to get to the hospital myself and find out what was wrong with me. Was that a miraculous healing, or had my parents deceived me for all of my life? If only I knew how everything would turn out in reality. In the first 3 days, everything really went according to the plan. Mom stayed with me at night, and I tried to get used to the weak light. There was no time left. I took the keychain, opened the door, and left the basement. I remembered well the location of everything in the house, and the heightened sense of space helped me quickly find the front door.
Okay, so she's going for it. She's making the run for it. Hopefully she doesn't get caught. I'm really hoping she doesn't.
I went outside. for the first time in 10 years. It was still dark, and it was just the beginning of the dawn. But the first rays of the sun literally burned my eyes. It was an incredible pain. My eyes began to water heavily.
First I was like, oh my god, that's so beautiful, the sun rays on her eyes. But then I remember it's probably like an insane pain.
But inside, I rejoiced. It was an amazing moment. I went out of the gate without obstacles. The car drove. I saw a man, a middle-aged man in a bright red cap. This was the first real person after my parents that I saw in my life.
This girl is living the life right now. She's finally seeing everything. She's taking in all this new information. Honestly, I'm really happy for her. Good for her.
I asked to be taken to the hospital. He took out a rectangular thing. There must be a phone that my mother told me about, and then dictated the address into it. I don't know how it happened, but I told him everything. About childhood, a stupid swing, a blindfold, and my diagnosis, hepatitis. The man picked up the phone again. He said that he was connected to the internet, and with its help you can find out anything. He asked me to spell my diagnosis, and then he said that such a disease does not exist.
Her parents made her think she has a fake disease? Are you kidding me? This disease never even existed? This is getting so freaking ridiculous.
A police car arrived very soon. A tall man in the uniform asked my name and asked where I live. I started to cry. I could not return home right now. Another woman arrived, as I later found out, a psychologist, because I was a minor. We went to the police station. I could not even imagine what was waiting for me. I dictated the names of my parents, Mr. and Mrs. Blake's. I named their dates of birth. A few minutes later, I heard a policeman tell his partner that these people had never had children. He said that they tried to adopt a child 15 years ago, but they were refused because they were being treated in a psychiatric hospital. I could not believe what I heard. Would you believe it? I tried to cope with the shock, and then my parents came into the office.
Okay, so her parents aren't even her freaking parents. These two people were being treated in a psychiatric hospital and never actually had kids. So how did they get their hands on this girl? I cannot wait to find out.
They admitted everything. It turned out that they took me from the yard, from some large family from a neighboring state. I couldn't wrap my head around it. Mom and Dad cried and repeated that they loved me more than anything and would never hurt me.
They did hurt you. They kidnapped you from your actual family. These two people are actual criminals, you guys. You can't just do that. You can't just take people's kids.
But they just wanted to protect me because my stroller stood for days in the yard and nobody cared. But the worst thing, as it turned out, was waiting for me ahead. A few days later, I was taken to my real parents. It would be better if that did not happen. My family was a couple of alcoholics who had 4 sons. And the worst thing was that they did not even remember that 15 years ago they had a daughter.
Oh my god, okay, so her original parents are even worse. So technically her second parents did save her, but then they also kind of messed up too, so I don't really know. This is getting really confusing. A lot of bad people are involved.
But no one put me on the threshold. They just didn't care. They drank all day long, and the children screamed, fought, asked for food and money. In those rare days when the mother nevertheless was cooking, the food was disgusting, but I had no choice. I was constantly hungry. There were no formal clothes. You won't believe it, but I already regretted that I don't have a blindfold because most of all, I would like to stop seeing this hell that was around.
Oh my god, so this girl's like, I realize now I made a mistake. I ended up in an even grosser spot with even worse people. She's like, oh god, I wish I had a time machine right now.
And of course, I really missed my mom and dad who raised me. They were strange, but they really loved me and were ready for anything for the sake of my happiness. And these people are strangers to me. After several weeks of such a life, I complained to social services and I was sent to a shelter. That's where I am now. Yes, I know now what the internet is, what life with eyes is, but I understand that this is a crazy idea, but I agree to become blind again just to feel the love of other people.
Alright you guys, so that is it for today's video. Honestly, this one left me kind of confused. Her real parents were a mess, the parents that saved her were also a mess, because it's totally not okay to make your kid think they're blind. So this whole girl's life was honestly such a mess, and thankfully she got out of it. So nonetheless, the story ended in a happy way. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. Comment down below what you thought of this video if you enjoyed. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.